Lesson number 10. Consciousness. Is your light on? By Reverend Angelo M. Distefano. The word consciousness is directly related to every dimension of human existence. Until we become conscious of something, we do not truly see or even believe it exists. The secret to a happy life on earth is changing one's consciousness to a positive awareness of who and what we are. To change our consciousness is no doubt the most important thing we can do. This is a mental process we evolve from. You would think it is easy until you add the fact of our ever-changing earth, plus the law that two of anything cannot occupy the same space at the same time. Not even two thoughts can occupy the same mind at the same time. This brings us to another important question. How do we open up ourselves to spiritual consciousness? It has been my observation that only through relinquishing our personal ego can we unite with the universal ego. This change in consciousness allows us to open our minds to truth and spiritual reality. Any person could be able to recognize a higher order of creation simply by observing nature. By uniting with nature, we become open to the four elements of creation. The beauty of nature can open up channels of spiritual energies that will enlighten any mind. The power of nature can also energize our spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical bodies. We reprogram the mind, we change our consciousness. The human mind is nowhere near as complex as we make it out to be. The fact is, we are absolutely creatures of habit. By using mind tools like meditation and hypnosis, we can program our minds easier than we could pre-program a computer. In fact, the mind is just like a computer. The eyes are the scanners. The conscious mind is like a monitor that shows our conscious brain wave patterns and thoughts. The subconscious mind is like our hard drive. It remembers all we have consciously seen, heard, and experienced. As we stated before, we are absolutely creatures of habit. Denial of this fact is what makes us so vulnerable. We need but change our conscious mind and perception, and we change our present state of consciousness. Have this mind in you, which was also in Jesus Christ. Did you ever hear the old saying, happiness is a state of mind? The biggest problem we face in the bombardment of negative thoughts through the conscious vision of what we call entertainment, television, movies, video games, virtual reality games, certain music, drugs, and pollution of our natural resources. From the time we are children, we are taught to compete, win, survive, act, speak, and even dress. Very seldom are we taught to relax and just listen to our true inner selves. When we come into this world and draw our first breath of spirit, we are perfect. To quote U.S. Anderson, once said, "The kingdom of heaven is the center of consciousness. The kingdom of heaven is that place of utter calm and serenity within the depths of our soul, where your I becomes fused with the immortal I. Of all creation, it is the place where you no longer are the doer, but instead become fused with the observer, the great contemplator, at the place where there is naught for you to do but choose and accept. Wherever it is so chosen and so accepted becomes manifest in the physical world about you." End quote by U.S. Anderson. Let us think about the definitions associated with the word consciousness. Awareness, perception of inner, psychological, or spiritual fact. Intuitively perceived knowledge of something in one's inner self. The state or activity characterized by sensation, emotion, or mental thought. Mind matter is the broadest possible sense of human existence, something in human nature that is distinguished from the physical. Definitions associated with consciousness. Noting human actions and reactions. Perceiving, apprehending, or noticing with a degree of controlled thought or observation. Recognizing as extinct, factual, or something to be true. Knowing or perceiving something within oneself, or a fact about oneself. Fully possessed of one mental faculties to be awake and perceptive, to logically perceive a problem and define what it takes to correct it. Aware, marked by realization, perception, or knowledge, showing heightened perception, ready comprehension, and appreciation. Informed, knowing, alert, sensible, alive, awake, and conscious. Comprehensive, understanding anything fully to see the nature, significance, or meaning, or to grasp mentally, contain or hold within a total scope. Adapt, to make suitable or fit, also be adjustable to particular conditions or ways. Bringing oneself into harmony with a particular environment to accommodate, conform to higher nature, reconcile to truth, logical. A science that deals with the canons and criteria of validity in thought, dimension, and traditionally compromises the principles of basic thought to perceive what is true and sensible, thought in harmony with higher reasoning, the mentally perceiving what is learned through experience. These are all words and definitions that cause us to be conscious. If the human race is to evolve and survive, we are going to have to change our consciousness. Let us stop and think about what has happened since the year 1900. I chose the 20th century because we know that this century has brought about more change in consciousness than all the time humans have been on this planet combined. With the invention of electricity, technology seems to make all things possible. But when we look at the consciousness of humanity, it is plain to see we are still very primal in some ways. As Einstein once said, I hope our technology does not exceed our compassion. The need for wars, poor conservation, destructive science, corruption, and poor leadership all prove we still have a long way to go. I have to stop and ask myself, have we really evolved? Or are we unconscious of our world's needs? Will we ever see the universal picture or spiritual purpose? Jesus the Christ referred to the present Aquarian age when he said, in the age of man we shall know the truth, and the truth will set us free. This brings us to a profound point. If we are to know universal truth, then we must voluntarily open our spiritual consciousness to understand it. All things, all conditions of body and affairs will there be origin in mind. And it is our minds that we make contact with the Christ mind. The mind of Jesus Christ penetrates and permeates our race consciousness like the etheric waves from a mighty broadcasting station. And we can tune in anytime by simply concentrating mentally on the Christ life and Christ substance. Before anything can be changed within our lives, we must first become conscious of what it is that needs to be changed. We can spend our whole life needing to change something that is hurting or limiting us, or even keeping us from achieving our truest potential. It is for this reason we need to keep an open mind and to explore all positive facets of life. I can't count the times I was speaking with people and they said, I never thought of that before. Or I wish I could have seen that a lot earlier in life. Consciousness is like a light bulb. It only works if you turn it on. Thank you for coming today, and I hope that light in your mind will always burn bright and true. May God bless you and all the people in the world.